be a scrolling ticker of actual. Oh, sorry. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Immortals Inc. podcast again. It's Carlos Robles here to talk to you about some games and other stuff. Yeah. Man, he got me all sidetracked. We were talking about getting new boards or doing something fancy and then ads or I don't know what we're going to do. But anyway, we're here to talk about. I'm Carlos Robles. Immortals Inc. game store in Rocky River, Ohio. And with me, as always, is Nate Elwood.
How you doing?
He's our resident gaming expert as far as, I think I'm going to give you that title now.
You're going to give me an expert?
I'm going to christen you with role-playing expert.
It's like an honorary degree.
Because you'll start talking, and I have no idea what you're talking about. I figured that's more than I know. Anyway, we're here to talk about Fate of Cthulhu, another one of the games from Evil Hat Productions, yes. Right? Yeah. And but before that, we always got to get to what's new. So what's new with you, Nate?
For those of you out there who would like to play some 40K or Kill Team, we are moving from Friday nights to Monday nights starting, I believe, next week. I'm pretty sure it's next week.
Might have been this week. Anyway, either way, show up. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you want to have put little people on the table, roll some dice and go pew pew. Come on down on Monday nights.
Monday nights is good. What game? You're a Kill Team guy, right?
Yes.
How'd that tournament go?
The tournament went well. The turnout was decent. We had 6 people show up.
Not bad for first.
No, not bad for first. And they all had a great time. My son was actually one of them, which was kind of cool to see him in his first tournament. So
did he lose or win?
He came in second to last. He came in second to last. But he did all right, and everybody there had a great time. And I'm looking forward to maybe doing another one in the future. So, yeah, if you like Kill Team or skirmish-based games or even 40K, just go on the Immortals Facebook page and tag me in it and be like, hey, I want to play a game. And if it's on a Monday, I can accommodate you.
All right. What about that tournament you're going to do? Not tournament. World Builder or
the campaign. I'm still working on it. It's how much free time I have to work on it, but I do definitely want to get something out within the next month or so. It takes a little while to set it all up, but once it gets rolling, it should be a good time.
All right, cool.
More details to come.
Yeah. All right. So push that on the back burner again, of course. Let's see. What else do I got? I got some new stuff here. There's a new card game that came out called Trial by Trolley, and I don't know if you saw it up there. It's like a party game. On the cover, it looks like it's funny. I don't know. I haven't played it, but a lot of people picked it up. You're driving a trolley. You're like the game master. You're driving a trolley. There's 2 other teams. They pick a card at random. The trolley splits, and then you have to kill somebody. Somebody has to die. You have to decide. One team, it could be like, well, it's a waiting pool full of babies. And you're like, oh, I don't want to kill them. And then the other one's a dog and a puppy. A kitten and a puppy, rather. And I don't want to run them over either. What do I do, But one of the kids in the pool grows up to be like a mass murderer. and then the kitten and the puppies, they have terminal cancer anyway. So now you're like, well, what do I do? It's a pretty funny game. It's called Trial by Trolley.
See, there's an actual, I believe it's a moral psychology question, which is the exact same thing. You have a trolley is going down a track, and it could either run into a bunch of people or just some workers, and based on the people's replies but that does sound like
very dark and depressing, but it sounds like a good time. But there's that one. Monster Mayhem, the Monster Madness expansion came out for the for some crazy reason. It's a fun little card game based on from Wizards of the Coast. It's D&D related, but for some reason it has a following. I sell out of it quite often. So new box set came out. It's like a box to hold all the other cards in it, so it's cool. Last week we got the Sword and Wizardry was the last podcast we did, RPG. That's in stock. Some more Warcry cards came out. That's from 40K. No, it's Games Workshop.
Yeah, Age of Sigmar skirmish stuff.
Yeah. So they released a whole bunch of new war cards for all the different armies. So those are in. From Magic the Gathering, the Unsanctioned box came in, which I think just it's like a box with like 5 different decks in it for a party night, but it's all like nonsense cards. So it's pretty good. What else? Oh, Cardfight Vanguard Team Dragon's Vanity extra booster releases this weekend. I know you're excited about that.
Extremely. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. That's a crazy following.
Everybody loves their own thing, and I know a lot of people who really do like collectible card games, but
Yeah, this one's...
It just never floated my boat. I did the Spellfire and Jihad.
I got to talk to you about that Spellfire later after that. I got to show you where to put that. So you might get what you're asking for. So what else do we got? Oh, did you see that Mothership RPG?
I saw a blog post about it, but it was like one of those like up and coming things. It wasn't
it's out.
Really.
I guess it's based on, it's a space adventure, space sci-fi horror game. Mm-hmm. Well, they came in to play it, and I never heard it. And there was a group in there playing. It's led by Jeff, this guy named Jeff. He's playing it called Mothership. And I'm sitting in the office doing work, and I'm like, usually I'm doing work, and all of a sudden out of the room, I can hear, he had like 8 players or 7 or 8 players. I hear, listen, we gotta work together. We can't just sit here eating old people all day. And I said, all right, I don't know what game they're playing, but I gotta go at. But I was able to contact the company, and I'll have that game probably next week. I'll have that game, and he's going to be running some games. It's Jeff, called Mothership RPG. He's got to sign up on Meetup, and I think it's just Mothership RPG on Meetup. So you can sign up if you want to get in on that. We're going to get some more information about that. Thursdays are now still open RPG nights. We've had a few players. We've had some people come in and play some games. Yeah, I don't think it's too organized yet. We're just kind of like throwing it out there, and people are coming in, and we'll see what's going on.
Was that when the live D&D is going to go on?
No.
Thursday? No.
Sundays.
That'd be Sundays, okay.
With you mean Josh's project?
Yes.
Secret project?
Secret, oh.
Right. Oh, no, it's not secret. It's kind of cool. Josh has got a pretty good I'm never going to tell it to his face, but I'm pretty impressed by what he's got going on. It's pretty impressive. Brings a tear to my eye. So that's coming up. Free RPGs coming in June or something like that, but yeah. I want to see what they're going to release soon.
There's so many gaming companies now that go into the free RPG. Yeah, they really realize just how successful it is. Mm-hmm. You can't beat it. I mean, you go into and it's pretty much any gaming store that says they're participating. You go in and every company has like something. They're like, here, just try this, a quick set or rule set, small adventure. Or something.
It's usually good stuff because even I got the kit for years, and people would come in and I would just hand it out. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, take it, whatever. And every once in a while, I'd snag something for myself. But last year, now that we have a huge role-playing presence, especially on Wednesday, they were like, all right, we're ready to do this. Like, okay. And I went to order it, and it was sold out. So they dropped the ball totally on that. So anyway, they reminded me well in advance this year. So then as soon as I could, I pre-ordered. So I got them. I'm all signed up for it. So we're all good this year again. And I will continue to do that as long as it's popular.
Do you know what's in the pack? Like what companies are in the pack? Or is it?
Okay. It's supposed to be on their website, but I haven't seen it yet. They redid their website recently. Yeah. I mean, it was okay before. Now it's fancy and new and easier to use. So, but if you go to freerpgday.com or something like that, it's real simple. Just search that and it pops right up. Sorry. Oh, Monday. I think this Monday, also with the 40K, I'm starting the Call of Cthulhu living card game. Night. We're just gonna. It's real casual because I just want to refresh myself on how to play it and everything like that. I got some interest. I had some guy. One of the guys who plays it a lot with his family and friends. He's gonna come in and help me out. Hopefully, I got to talk to him still. The Undying Brush for the Beast miniature painting contest. That's gonna end March 21st. So get your stuff in. March 15th is also our St. Patrick's repack draft. $2, and you get a repack, and we'll do a draft that way. Correct, Josh? And he just nodded. and that's about it. I'm done. The Yellow King RPG books are in.
Yes.
And the Luminol, which I think you're going to be doing next. RPG is in. That's from. It's your new favorite company.
Oh, Cubicle
7. Yeah. And so that's pretty good. So we'll go there. But anyway, sorry, I'll shut up. I said enough. We'll push that away because I'm tired of it.
All right.
And then we're going to move on to Fate of Cthulhu with Nate.
So Fate of Cthulhu.
I can tell by your eyes, like glazing over.
There's a lot to this one. So it's a $35 novel-sized hardbound book, about 250 some pages long. Mm-hmm. It has the complete Fate core system in it, so all the rules for Fate core is in there. It's laid out pretty well. Art's nice. It's not spectacular or anything, but it's all right. So the book itself, it's a good book. So how to start this off? I guess the overview of it. This is an action horror game. So unlike other Call of Cthulhu games, it really does focus more on action than investigation and what have you.
This one does?
Yes.
Okay.
But the premise of it is pretty interesting. So the world already came to an end. One of the greater gods, in here they actually have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 actual gods that they had the apocalypse to, and then they have rules to make up your own.
Are they the big gods or?
You have Great Cthulhu, Dagon, Shub-Niggurath, Nyarlathotep, King in Yellow. So yeah. But basically, the great old ones rose. Humanity was screwed, and the whole premise is you're time travelers going back to stop the apocalypse, in essence. Now, you can play a character from the present day before the apocalypse, or I assume that most people will play somebody from the future going back in time to try to stop whatever. So they're the shit show from happening.
They're John Connoring this up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very, very much so.
I was gonna. I kind of like that already. Go ahead.
At first when I first read it, I'm like, that's pretty interesting. I kind of like that idea because whenever you to use the Doctor Who reference, do timey-wimey stuff, it's always cool because it makes like it's not just a linear thing for a role-playing game. You could literally your characters could affect something. Maybe not accomplish what they needed to, and then you have another group go back and go from where they last were in. But more on that in a little bit. We'll get into a little bit into the Fate system. Now, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's kind of I like it and I dislike it at the same time. It's a very weird thing. It's an awesome storytelling or story-centric system, but it's clunky, in my opinion. Some people will disagree with that. They say it's really malleable, and you can do this and do that. But basically, I like my systems, and this is just me personally. I like either a dice pool system or a set difficulty type system where you roll a die or a pool of dice. You either pass or you don't. With this, and what some people really do like about the Fate system is that you can manipulate those rolls, and even a failure, you can take negatives so that it's a failure but a success but with a severe consequence. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into the Fate system in it.
Is it like the other Fates you've reviewed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That Fate core system, if we have reviewed it in the past, so if you want to see it on there. What I will do, though, is talk about what makes this different than just the other Fate systems, and that is what's called corruption. Now, in Call of Cthulhu, there's always been a mechanic for insanity.
Mm-hmm.
And with this being more of a action and dynamic, and I think really to shy away from the stigma of the word insanity, they decided to go with what's called corruption. So as you cast spells or interact with mythos stuff, you get corruption. And as soon as you fill up your what's called a corruption clock, which is basically a circle quartered, once you fill all that up, one of your aspects becomes corrupted. And
your aspects is your...
these are aspects are truths about your character that you can use for storytelling purposes and game purposes.
I'm starting to remember. Yes.
So, let's say one of your aspects is always finds the good in others.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, you don't have to corrupt that aspect to be... Like, if you get enough corruption, you have to change one of your aspects to a corrupted aspect. It doesn't even have to relate to what you're getting rid of. It just has to be something that's... And they give examples in here, like, you can drip foul ichor and
it's like physical manifestations.
Yeah, you grow a claw or something of that nature.
A tick.
Yes. More than just like your little odd of it, like in Call of Cthulhu or Go Crazy. Like these are physical, hard to not notice, corrupting things. You cast spells, you start to fill up your corruption pool and everything. But I thought that was a neat mechanic to put into the Fate system, because the insanity system wouldn't really fit into the Fate system at all very well. So the problem that I've always had with the Fate system, even though I'm a very story-driven type of role player.
Yeah, if I remember, the Fate system was more story. It was like really hardcore storytelling, and
you got to think a lot on your feet. Yeah. You got to be really adaptable to.
Is this the one that you could go back and change something? Like, by the way,
that was kind of like Blades in the Dark.
Yes. They don't use Fate system, do they? Blades in the Dark. kind of. Same company,
sort of.
right?
Yeah, it's the same company. But like the actual Fate core system, they have their own dedicated games for, and they have. I think you can even download the Fate core system for free. I'm not. Don't quote me on that one, but I think it's available for free if you really want it.
It might be part of that Bits and Mortar, where you can, if you buy a copy, get a PDF.
It was all kickstarted, so. The thing is, though, like I said, to me, the Fate system tries to fill in a gap between the old school dice and charts and the newer school of simplifying that and difficulty
storytelling.
And right, it's to me the Fate core system is kind of like, well, we'll throw dice in just for the heck, and it's a unique set of dice too. You don't have to buy their dice because it's a 6-sided die. 2 sides of it will have a plus symbol, 2 sides will have a negative symbol, and 2 sides will have a blank symbol. You don't need to buy them, but of course they encourage you to.
No, of course.
Well, they got to make their money somehow.
I encourage you to.
The thing is, though, it's like even if you don't succeed, you can manipulate your rolls through different things, and to me, it's just like, well, why even have the dice at all? Just storytell it out. I mean, and if that's the point, then I've always remembered role-playing games, like, whenever they talked about them, at least back in the day, they used to be like, remember playing Cops and Robbers or something? When you run around, you'd be the cop, your friend was a robber or whatever, and you're like, bang, I shot you, and you'd be like, oh, you missed. Well, that's where the dice come in. You need a clear way of saying, oh, I hit or I missed. It doesn't even just come to combat, but to other things, too. With the Fate core system, it's more along the lines of, well, I'm going to manipulate these dice by using aspects and stunts or compels and all these other things. To try to get these to do what I want. At that point, I'm just like, why even roll the dice? Why not just kind of storytell your way through it,
Unless the dice are there to allow you to use those other special features.
I mean,
to bring it more I'm going to just run the other side of it for a minute. Like, if you have all these special features, if you're just going to use them, the dice make you use them. Like, oh, you failed for whatever reason. All right, well, I'm going to use this special feature I have. And then I'm going to tell a story of why or how it's going to be used and go from there. I could see both sides.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, personally, I'm not a huge fan of the Fate system.
No.
I can see why people do love it. It is very malleable. It's very fluid. You can do a lot with it.
I could see where the dice just a simple dice roll would drive more people to the story. Like, you could probably storytell just right off the bat and go from there.
Right.
But some, like people like me would need help. Like, oh, why would I need to, and I could see it.
And anyway, go. It's great for experienced role players.
Yeah,
I don't see Fate as a good novice role playing system.
I think you've said that before about it too. So,
but all right, that aside,
okay.
What gets Fate of Cthulhu really rolling is the time travel aspect. So if you play a character that is from the future, you're going to have corruption already because you have to kind of petition an old god to be able to travel back in time.
Mm-hmm.
And another interesting thing that they added to it is this timeline mechanic, where each apocalypse, basically, they have what they call catalysts, or 4 real events that led to the rise of whatever god it was. And you, as players from the future, know through history what these catalysts are. So when you're going back in time, you're going to try to stop these things from happening. So each god has 4 different ones, and based on how well you stop one or all of them, you have this swinging chart of either the old god is doing better than you, or you're doing better than the great old one. Like I said, it's an interesting mechanic. It's a really nifty idea because it also sets up that, let's say you fail miserably here. Well, the next group that comes in can kind of pick up your pieces and try to do something different.
It's almost like, okay, you send your first group back, they screw up, terribly die.
Yes.
The next group they send back is going to know what happened.
Yes.
So they can go back and try to deal with that problem and move on to the next.
Right. Or it could completely change the timeline.
Yeah,
I mean, you're dealing with timelines, so there's going to be like weird paradoxes and stuff.
Is the stories in here? Like,
yes.
Okay.
So they have like 4.
I was gonna say that'd be a lot of work for whoever's
for
running
a GM.
it.
Yeah, but they do have. They say like after Cthulhu and Dagon, Subnagra, Nyarlathotep, King in Yellow, they have rules for you to make up a different type of apocalypse with whatever great old one or made up old
you
one,
can see, like,
and you can make your own catalysts and how it all happens and everything. Overall, the story behind it is really cool. I think it's if you like Delta Green, if you like Cthulhu, Call of Cthulhu, but more action or pulpy, this is definitely right up your alley.
Because I like the fact that there's like this the part of Cthulhu where it's always been is like, oh, the unknown or the insanity. It's not your.
Yes.
This one you're already well into it, from what I understand.
Yeah.
You're waist deep in the.
It's already happened.
In the garbage.
Right. It's already happened. Now to me, it's more like Delta Green, where it's definitely much more action.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Yeah, because you're going back and there's no terror. You've already experienced the terror. You're going back just to stop the terror. Right. So I get it. It's not a bad idea.
You know, they put in the restriction like you can really only go back about 30 years because after that, they try to explain it in there, but it basically 30 years is the limit that humans can go back in time.
Game mechanics,
right? Basically, to stop these things from happening. So it takes most of the apocalypses. You're already in 2050s, so it comes back to modern day,
which. I think we talked about it. You talked about it too. Is it's easy to run modern day.
It is
because you're here. You could do it anywhere you want.
Very relatable.
It could start here. It could come back here. It could come back. Whatever city you want, and you're there. So there's not a lot of imagination that needs to be.
And the people who wrote the stories in here. I mean, the scenarios that they came up with are really good. I really enjoyed just reading them, even as a bit of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So what also is kind of cool about it is, it's meant to be a campaign too, where your characters can advance, but just like Sanity in Call of Cthulhu, you only have so many aspects on your character sheet. I believe it's 5 aspects that a PC has, and if you're coming from the future, one of those is already corrupted, so that leaves you with 4.
Mm-hmm.
Once you fill in one of those clocks, another aspect gets corrupted. Once you corrupt all of your aspects, that clock fills in one more time. You are no longer a PC. You are now an NPC, and bad things
That's where the insanity,
happen.
Insanity.
So just like the downward spiral of insanity in Call of Cthulhu. So I'm glad they kept something like that to give it that real Cthulhuan feel.
No, I like that because that's a time limit then.
Yes.
That you're racing against, you don't have, you can go back in time, you think you got all the time, but no, because you're falling apart as you go. So there's a time, you got to get it done before.
And not only that,
you just don't exist. Well, that also goes back to you're not going to exist because no matter what you do, you're going to be corrupted, even if you change the future.
Yes, but it's kind of like a suicide mission.
Yeah, that's true.
You're kind of sacrificing yourself for the
It's only
greater
one
good.
way too, right? You can only go back. You can't go forward.
No, you cannot go forward.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, so you go back in time, and it talks about what happens when you time travel. Like you. It's kind of like Terminator. You're just naked somewhere, wherever designated. Hopefully, you're where you're supposed to be, but you just kind of phase in naked and go from there. So it's a very, like I said, it's an interesting concept. Love it or hate the fate system. If you're looking from a pure rules standpoint, it blends well with what they wanted it to do. The corruption system I do like a lot, and the timeline system that they have of how it swings from one side to another. I like that. You kind of, in normal Call of Cthulhu games, there's no quantifying winning or losing, as it were, because it's cosmic horror, you're insignificant, blah blah blah. But with this, they kind of needed to put these little, how well are you doing types of mechanic in, and gives the overall arch of things a goal so that you can stop an apocalypse of some kind. So it all works well together. The people who put it together obviously liked what they were doing. You could tell these were Cthulhu enthusiasts. Just
that's
based
another
off of
question
the fiction.
I had.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have seen products or stuff where they just it's Cthulhu, and then you could tell by reading in 5 minutes that
you've never read H.P. Lovecraft, or you weren't really into it. You just this will sell.
You think of squids or something. When they go
it's
back,
got a lot of replay value too.
I was gonna. Okay, that's another.
You know
question,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like you could play Cthulhu with one cat. You go through and you're starting to take out these catalysts to stop the apocalypse. And if you're, if you don't want to go based off of just what they have in here, you could even throw other wrenches into it and then have Cthulhu rising, but a completely different set of circumstances to have that happen.
But there's five old ones. Sorry, jeez.
Yes, there's five
old ones, so you at least have 5 different scenarios, right?
Yes,
in this book.
Yes.
So you get the whole rule book. You get 5 scenarios, and you get that's not bad for 35.
Not
even.
for 35. It's a complete. Personally, this is not for novices. I wouldn't suggest it for novices as like your first role-playing game, because to me, there's so much as far as just the Fate system goes, and being able to handle a lot of weird situations, because of the Fate system, you need to be able to have a grasp of how the game not only just works, but how to really think on your feet. If characters, there's no like A and then B and then C and then railroading on this one. This is very open, sandboxy. So novices aren't.
Would you
not
suggest another one of their Fates before this Fate system? Fate games before this game?
I'm kind of biased. Like I said, I don't like the system. I see what they're trying to do. I see its merits, but it's not one that I would. If anything, I'd be like take the concept and throw a different system to it.
Okay.
But
I mean, if you were going to play this, would you suggest somebody else play another Fate game before attempting this particular version of it?
Not really, because to be honest, like all the rules for Fate are in here.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's different is the corruption system, and to me that doesn't really. It's the most. Actually, the corruption system is the most straightforward part of the Fate system. I mean, other than you having to think up but they even give examples of possible corruptions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like a lot of it is different aspects of you use that to mitigate your rolls so that you can get pluses or minuses to them. And so you have to really, if you have, let's say, overconfident as one of your aspects or whatever, or plays well with a crowd or something, you can justify saying, well, I'm going to get a +2 to this roll to speaking with people or to intimidating people, or I might get a minus. The GM might be like, well, you get a minus for it because you're only dealing with a person one-on-one. You're not very good one-on-one, but to a large group of people, whatever it may be, it's you have to be able to kind of BS your way a little bit.
With a lot of thinking and flight.
Right.
I see where some people
right.
You wouldn't like that system just from knowing you, but I could see where other people would like that openness to it and just go with the flow.
I like I said, I like storytelling to be storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
If I just wanted to play a game where I sit around and storytell, I'm fine with that, to be honest. I don't need because the bell curve on these dice rolls is super small as far as getting accomplishing what you want it to accomplish, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're rolling 4 dice. Pluses or negatives take out positives, and blanks do nothing. And you're trying to mitigate that roll. And there's things called refresh where you can either re-roll all the dice or get a +2 or something like that. I mean, like I said, you have all these things to mitigate this roll. Why have the roll?
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking at the other one where I can see where the roll would drive why I use things, but I know why you don't.
Yeah,
just
to me,
it's just
give me a
different
skill, give me a stat, give me whatever.
Yeah.
Boom! It's that's what I loved about the unit system. Like, hey, I have an ability, I have a skill. I need to get a 9. If that's a 4 and that's a 3, I need to get a 2 or better.
I can see where some people don't like that, base it on the number. I want something where I can drive until I get it. But I see where people would like. There's definitely more storytelling, definitely on everybody's part, not just.
And like I said, there's people out there who love this system. There's reviews on this where people are just, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread.
You do not like that system.
Well,
I can just tell you're you're trying to. It's cool. Not everybody likes everything, but I mean,
Evil Hat has put out some great products though.
Yeah, they have.
Concept-wise, I love this. This is awesome. I love the idea of time traveling Cthulhu investigators that are.
I like that. Yeah,
it's a great idea.
That's yeah. Basically, that's Cthulhu. Right. I'm not gonna make it, but I'll try.
Right.
But that's cool. But I like that. I like the fact that you would go back and you're corrupted already.
Yeah,
and,
you basically have to
deal with that corruption on top
to be able to go back. Yes.
And then you have to convince who's ever back there. Can you mix players? Can you have normal players?
Yeah,
three guys in the present, and then all of a sudden these two show up and you're a party.
You can meet your past self.
Oh yeah, see that's too much thinking.
Yeah, well,
that's creepy.
I mean, it'd be interesting though.
Yeah, it would be.
Like you would know about that already because you've already lived it.
Oh man, that's a crazy guy. Yeah, that's pretty good too.
You knew you came back, so you may have seen yourself die.
What if another player played that as person?
That'd be an interesting.
See, that's
Freudian right there, though.
Oh, think about it, man. Like
maybe if you were playing,
say Josh goes back and meets himself, and I'll play Josh from the past. Josh is like, no.
But you can see there's a lot of things that you can do with the game. Like I said, I love the concept of it.
I think I just blew my own mind. Anyway,
I love the concept of it. The apocalypse the different apocalypses. Apocalypse?
Apocalypse.
I don't know what the plural apocalypse. I don't think there is one.
Multiple apocalypses.
Just the fiction itself is really good, and all the catalysts they give for each one is really interesting too.
So good writers.
Yeah, good writers. I mean,
who are the writers?
Typos or anything. Like it was
Blackmore.
well thought out by people who liked Cthulhu games, and I think wanted to do a different take on Cthulhu, because let's face it, Cthulhu has always been regular Joes or above average Joes fighting unknowable horrors, and then Delta Green is military fighting unknowable horrors. So this is pretty interesting. I thoroughly enjoy the concept in the actual book itself.
I always like the way they set up things too. It's easy to read, and
it's very the setup of the book is really well done.
I see what you mean by the art. The art is kind of comic booky, but
it's
not in a bad way.
No,
not in a bad way, comic book
it
stuff,
gives the feel of the game, which is more important than I think like the actual,
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what do we usually use? 1 to 10s in this?
Yeah. I'd give this a solid 6.
6?
Solid 6, yeah.
Because you don't like the system, though.
Yeah, personal. That's just a personal bias.
I mean, that's fine.
If we're going by concept alone, I'd give it an 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's just, for me, the Fate system isn't my cup of tea.
Good for new players?
If you have an experienced GM, I think it would be. If he can really hold their hands until they get their feet wet and figure out how you manipulate the story to do what you want to do.
So not a first time, like new. Like if somebody came in the store for new player,
I couldn't do this as a one-off.
Right,
you could not do this as
not as a new player, just something simpler.
Unless you're really experienced. And to be honest, it's not really meant to be a one-off, because you're trying to stop an apocalypse. That's hard to do in a one-off session. So,
come on, they do it in 2 hours on Hollywood stuff. Yeah, hold my beer. Watch this, but
I would say as a small campaign, like if you were to say, hey, I wanted to do 5 sessions,
something different,
and everybody sit down who wants to play and be like, hey, which one of these gods do you want to stop the apocalypse of? And everybody agrees on that.
Which one's the easiest?
None of them are. I think that would be an excellent, like, hey, let's do this for 5 sessions. That's what, a month and a half of gaming.
A break. It's a good break game.
This would be fun. I think it would be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, but not a first timer. Yeah, okay, that's cool.
No, not a first timer.
Cool. All right. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah. I mean, we have this. It's cool. Fates, and we carry all their Fate stuff. I think we have the cores. I think we even have the dice somewhere, right, Josh?
They also have the Fate card deck, which basically you just
I'll be honest. Unless somebody special orders those, I usually don't carry them because they're so. People either want them. It's rough, It's. I mean, I would if they sold like crazy, but they don't.
I know people.
For me, anyway, I don't know.
Decks of cards instead of 10-sided dice. I've seen people do that too, but I don't know. I just
like with me, if I get something into a system, I'll buy those. But I'm a collector more than I like to have everything.
I mean, if it's basically a D6 system, you can just say 1 and 2 is negatives, 3, 4 is positives, 5 or 3, 4 is blanks, and 5, 6 is pluses. That's
cooler with the dice, so come on. But but you could on a budget, And if like I said, $35 you get the whole thing.
You get a whole system in there. It's not hard to make a character, to be honest with you. You just have to be really, really creative, and that's not to say that if you're not role playing.
Well, if you're role playing, I think you're halfway there.
Partially, I mean, unlike with D&D, where you're like, what do you want to be? Well, I'm going to be an elf. You already have that's an archetype already. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be a barbarian. Well, there's another archetype. You're not really thinking about.
I want to be a corrupt human.
Right. I mean, like with this, you need to like really come up with with your different aspects and how they're going to
I remember.
Relate with each other.
We did a couple of fates, I think.
Yes.
If you check our backlog of if you go to our website, immortalsinc.com, and then hit podcast, you can find. We did a review. I think you did a more extensive review of the fate system. Yes. I think I remember talking about it. So. That's cool.
Like I said, it's really malleable. I'm not trying to down it. It's just personal stuff here.
That's why I just read. No, everybody's allowed to have their personal.
Of Nate.
Yeah, everybody's allowed to have their personal way. But like I said, I haven't played it and I haven't read it, so I can't say the others. I'm just looking at what you're telling me. Playing devil's advocate. Sorry, guys. That was my. Oh my gosh, that was our timer. That the time's up. All right, sorry. I gotta fix that, Josh. Josh, get on that. No, anyway. All right. Well, any final words about anything?
Come on down, play some games.
Yeah, come play some games.
It's cold outside. It's cold and snowy.
I know.
It's warm down here. Come on down. Bring some people.
Warm,
have fun.
It's plowed out front. We have everything here you need. Pop, snacks, water.
If you're looking for a cool gaming room, there is one for rent here.
Oh, yeah. The Rusty Dragon Inn. You can rent that 4-hour blocks, $25.
It's got an awesome table on it. So
yeah, an open table gaming. If things start to fill up, though, you got to call. I've noticed certain days you're going to have to start. People are, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
I couldn't imagine not calling first. I don't know. Like if it's kind of like.
Sometimes, yeah, so it's
like a restaurant.
Could be logistics on our part too, because sometimes, like Josh will get told somebody, "Hey, I'm going to do this," and Josh will forget, or I won't see the note, and then all of a sudden there's like 5. Like I think it happened last week with a role playing group. I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, we talked to a guy named Josh." I go, "Oh boy." So then, and it's not his fault, it just gets busy, and who knows? But yeah, call, make sure you contact us, talk to us. We're real easy. Just come on in, no biggie. All right. If you want to get a hold of us, give us a call, 216-712-7169. Check our website, immortalsinc.com. We also have an online TCG player account for Immortals Inc. for card singles. Check that out. That's over 100,000 cards on there now. Make Shalee work in the back. And
a whole lot, too.
Yeah, make her work faster. We have this, and I think we're going to do a whole lot of new things here.
Yeah.
We are getting a lot of bites and C's. And
speaking of which, if anybody who is listening to this would like a specific game to be reviewed, just drop a line. I'd love to see what you guys are playing, what youth would be like, hey, I would like for you to talk about this or talk about that, even if it's a supplement or something. Let us know.
The easiest way to be message us on Facebook, on Facebook Messenger, or just at the store, or email us, or call, or stop in. Yeah. We're good either way. All right, guys. Until next time, I think we're going to be doing Luminol.
Yes.
Luminol RPG from Cubicle 7.
Yes.
No. Yes.
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 Cube 7.
All right. Cubicle 7. Yeah. Anyway, I'll post it up. We'll
We'll
do it right now. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, Nate.
All right.
All right, everybody. Until next time. Bye.